Autopsy, released June 10th, 1975, directed and co-written by Armando Crispino, the other co-writer being Lucio Battistrada, if I'm not butchering his last name, starring Mimsy Farmer, and an Italian giallo film, I think I'm saying that right, originally titled Macchie Solari. Again, hopefully I'm not butchering that, but in English it translates to Sunspots. And the film was renamed Autopsy so that it was more descriptive and marketable for international audiences. So, the movie literally opens with a topless woman. I love Italy. But, unfortunately, she's doing that. And then, an older guy puts a plastic bag over his head and jumps into the river. But then someone blows themselves up in their own car. And then we see two kids, unfortunately, unalive. And then it pans over to, assumedly their father, a soldier sitting there with his machine gun in the corner. He then turns it on himself and takes himself out with the machine gun. It's like, right off the bat, there is so much death. Then we cut to people cutting up dead bodies. Like, lots of bodies. Did they perform, like, mass autopsies in Italy in the 70s? Mysteries of the world. Anyway, Simona, played by Mimsy Farmer, she hallucinates one of the corpses smiling at her, getting up, and then groping her. It's like, damn, girl, you got some messed up fantasies. But then she proceeds to see multiple get up, and some of them even have sex. It's like, number one, Italy. Damn, dude. And number two, again, Simona, you got some weird fantasies, girl. Soon, a young girl is unfortunately found dead on the beach. She shot herself, like, through here, and, like, it messes up her face pretty good. Or when she is wheeled into the morgue, a guy says to Simona, "Here's a new one for your thesis." It's like, what thesis? But first, Daddy is getting married. But instead of celebrating with him, Simona just runs off to put a wig onto the corpse. It's here we find out her thesis is simulated SUICIDE versus real. Simulated, assumedly, is murder to make it look like that. A priest, Paul Lennox, played by Barry Primus, then shows up literally out of nowhere. Like, he's just in this morgue. It's like, dude, you have no business here. What are you doing? He, of course, says, oh, this woman, she could not have killed herself because she confessed to me. But then he's like, oh yeah, by the way, she's also my sister. It's like, maybe you should have led with that. Simona then meets up with Ricardo, played by Ray Lovelock, who is also apparently her lover, and she just goes, "Undress me," while she's laying down on the bed like a corpse. This girl is weird, dude. But as sexy time begins, she starts having, like, flashes of the corpse smiling at her, and sorry, Ricardo, no sexy time. The super of Simona's building then just attacks the priest along with his dog, but then the priest gets the upper hand and screams, "I've already killed a lot of people, you understand?" Interesting. The super later beats his dog with the leash, and I really, really, really want something terrible to happen to him because fuck anybody who hurts a dog. Turns out he just, like, hangs himself with the dog's leash, and it's like, well, not as violent as I was hoping, but I will take it. Simona, of course, finds him, but then Father Paul again shows up completely out of nowhere to try to resuscitate him, but instead, just bloody foam comes out of the guy's mouth. It's like, okay, many questions. One, was he actually dead from the hanging? Was he just like on the last sort of line? But then, from like mouth to mouth, did Father Paul slip him something into his mouth, which resulted in the bloody foam? It's like, there are many questions. At some kind of museum exhibit, there is pictures of autopsies and crime scene photos of dead people, like, all over the place. There's also recreations of, that and murders. In one room, it is set up to simulate what seems like to be, death by shotgun, and it manages to get set off with Simona in the room, and it, like, the shotgun goes off like right next to her head. It's like, damn! Father Paul thinks that Simona's dad killed her sister because it turns out the guy that her dad was going to marry was Paul's sister, who ended up being, winding up dead on the beach. And it's like, okay, interesting. But then at a race, Ricardo, his windshield, he's apparently also a racer, his windshield blows out, the car crashes, and it explodes, but don't worry, he survives. So it's like, this is interesting, because this obviously, not an unaliving, a self-unaliving, this is a potential murder. So it's like, is someone taking people out in the guise of self-unaliving, much like her paper? Well, Simona definitively discovers that Father Paul's sister was, in fact, murder. And then the doctor that she's with then proceeds to try to R-word her. It's like, what? Like, her discovering that it not being SUICID and it actually being murder, which should kind of be a big deal here, that gives his first reaction is, do you know what? I'm going to take advantage and assault her. Italian people are weird. Simona, rightfully, attacks him with a fork and practically beats the shit out of him, pretty close to killing him. But Ricardo stops her, and then later says, and I quote, and I shit you not, can't blame the poor bastard for trying. What? And his reasoning is because icy women apparently turn the guy on. It's like, you are supposed to be this woman's boyfriend, lover, whatever. And your first inclination is to defend the guy who tried to R-word her? Are you kidding me? Then, the twist. It was murder, obviously. Someone was trying to get some kind of Bible from Simona's dad and turned to murder when the accomplice got cold feet. The ending comes predictably when the bad guy dies. So, before somebody offs themselves, or a death in general happens, we see a sun flare, like burst out of the sun. Not quite a sunspot, as the title suggests, but I would assume that's basically the original Italian name for the film. The flares are apparently causing people to leave this mortal plane of their own accord. But that's also the big mystery. What is, self-unaliving, and what is murder? The opening features multiple people in the act of doing so, and so that's very obviously self-unaliving. But there are a number of deaths as the story gets going, and it makes you question whether or not it is murder. As you heard, murder is afoot. And there's a lot of misdirection. There's dialogue that makes it seem like Father Paul could be the killer. Actions by Simona's father makes you wonder if he is the killer. And even Simona's obsession with death makes you think that maybe she's the killer. The twist of who the killer actually is, it's pretty solid, even if that person's fate is predictable. Mimsy Farmer is great in her role, while others put in pretty solid performances in general, and the direction from Armando Crispano is fantastic. My only real issue with the movie is that the solar flares corresponding with the self-unaliving is never really explained. It's clear that there's a mass of people taking their own lives, as established with the opening shots of the film, and showing us solar flares before a death happens makes you think they are related. It's even used for misdirection in the murder, but it's never fully explained as to what is going on with that. It's like they just dropped that part of the plot to concentrate on the murder mystery. So while that is disappointing, it's still a very good giallo film. I give Autopsy a solid B. Thank you for watching Fatman Inc Horror. Leave a like if you enjoyed and a comment to discuss your thoughts. Make sure to subscribe to see more reviews of horror movies new and old. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.